Yes.
Impressive. The stage is yours.
All right, thank you very much. And is there, oh, this one, or someone will do that automatically, or shall I? I press, thank you very much. Super. So yes, fifth generation. I think there were no fifth generations here. I also know, what's there? Are you fifth generation? Fantastic. Okay, very good. So, but for those who are first and second, who I think is the majority, and there were some in the third generation, what I will speak about now will be about the family and about how the family stays together over time and what are the tools to become the fifth generation. You can think of me as your grandson standing here in front of you in the future. So, of course, the story of Finland, I realized already when I came, the driver, Petr, who was driving me, we had a super discussion about the history of Czechoslovakia first, and then Czechia. I learned Czechia now, I'm doing it the right way, and not the Czech Republic. And I realized that very, very much, Finland's fate was very fortunate. I think I wouldn't be standing here at all if we had gone through everything that you went through. Finland was fortunate in the Second World War not to be occupied by the Soviet Union, and that made it possible for us family businesses who were started already in the 1800s to still stay around. Most of them have gone bankrupt, so there's still other ways to lose the business, but we're still standing, and it will be 175 years next year. So I have been, my last highest position was head of the family. Now I'm 61, I'm retreating, I'm making more space for the next generations. We need to get good rotation, but they still give me the possibility to be chairman of nomination committees. That means I am the one who, together with the team of nomination committee, suggests to the AGM, to the annual meeting, who should be in the board of directors. So it's a very important job, and I'm not allowed to nominate myself. This is one part of our system. This is the incentive for you to think about why you should go for the fifth generation. The old Egyptians said that you die 2 times, the first time when your soul leaves your body, and the second time when your name is not mentioned anymore. I mention Ahlström, my great-great-grandfather, who founded the company in 1851. He was a farmer's son who then in the end became the most successful, largest sawmill entrepreneur in the Nordic countries. His wife, Eva, who was his second wife actually, our great-great-grandmother, she was 20 years younger than him because he was the first wife had passed away, and they had only one child who died early. So all of the Ahlström family is from the second marriage. She became, when Antti Ahlström died, she became Finland's first female CEO of a large corporation at that time. This was around the turn of the century. So from 1896 forward until his eldest son, my great-grandfather Walter Ahlström, took over. Of course, Finland being at that time in the 1800s the poorest country in Europe by far, former Eastern Sweden, Grand Duchy of the Russian Tsar's Empire, raw materials was a natural thing where it all started. So first the Ahlström started by shipping wood, and then they built more ships, bigger ships, and then they wanted to do the sawmilling too, so they started to saw up wood, and then they realized that all these old steel-making plants, or not steel, it was iron making, who had used the forest as a raw material for the smelting, that model was breaking apart, and these companies were going bankrupt, and the forests were very cheap, so he bought a lot of forest and became a big forest owner. Natural, of course, when you are in that business, you have excess energy, and then producing glass was actually something that the Ahlströms did in great length. You may know a company called Iittala. This was an Ahlström company for 90 years. We sold it in the 1980s. So my grandparents, who were in the third generation, they were very, very passionate about glass. So that was very, very interesting to hear you talk about that. And it was very much about how can we create the Finnish glass industry to the level of at that time their benchmark was the Italians in Venice in, what's this little, Murano, exactly. But they were also modernists, so there was a lot of other design-related things. The risk with me is that I can start to go on the side path. I will leave this side path now and continue with my presentation. Then over the years, fast forward to today's time, there were lots of different types of businesses. First, it was a conglomerate that grew domestically, of course, exporting. But then by the 1960s, fortunately for us, the family started expanding abroad, first to Italy, then to Germany, then to France, then to the United States. And by the 1980s and 1990s, Ahlström was already a global company. So they were selling the assets in Finland to good international companies who are now still big employers in Finland. So in that sense, they didn't sell them to people who were closing the factories, they sold them to people who wanted to continue. But that was important for the family in order to be able to expand and to also to secure our future. To be world leader in something, you really also have to focus. We can't be world leader in all the things that we were doing in the more closer markets. Then when we talk about the open global markets, we have to be really the top of the world leading business. Here I just show this picture, them together, the home. The home will be one important theme that we feel has kept us together over years. Also, we are very proud of their, already the founders, they set the values for us, responsibility for the people around us, responsibility for our employees, for our nation. Okay, that's also what I heard, the patriotism is deeply ingrained in us, and even so much too that Finnish was not an official language in Finland when the Ahlström company was founded. The language was Swedish, so that was kept during the Russian time. But the Russian Tsar, so yeah, you see, 1809, that's when Sweden was cut in half, and they lost eastern Sweden, which then became the Grand Duchy of Finland. Luckily, in a way, this time it was lucky that the Russians came, but it was not the Soviets, it was not the Bolsheviks. So then 2 months after, no, is it 1918 for Czechoslovakia or 17? 18, yes, okay. So just a little bit less than 1 year before Finland became independent. Finland declared independence as the revolution was happening in St. Petersburg. We didn't want to have anything to do with that, and they thought, well, those guys are so militarily capable, so it's better to let them go and take care of that problem later. I don't know exactly what Lenin was thinking, but he signed the paper and Finland was independent. That was a fortunate thing. I'm running out of time, right? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some kind of amazing time warp here. Today, this already David said, 250 owners, 420 family members, we're all over the world. We have to organize ourselves very, very, very well. And the key understanding is that the ownership is what keeps the family together, but also the venues, so the home. That's one thing I say to the first and the second generation. Think about that if you dare to think that I'm your great-grandson standing here on the stage. I say build a home, build a place, because they will come back to that home, and that glue will keep them together. So that's one finding. Emotional engagement into the business in itself, so if it's related to the history, the national pride, supporting the language. In our case, it was making it possible for Finnish people to go to school in Finland. The founders were building Finnish-speaking schools. But also the business in itself. Where can we be world leaders? Well, we are world leader in niche segments of renewable fiber-based materials. This would be produced from wood, but also produced from other things. When you have a cup of tea in the morning, somebody made that material that the tea bag is made from, and it can be different kinds of things, but a great part of them we produce, particularly those who are fully biodegradable. When you start your engine, if it's a combustion engine, there's a filter material that filters the oil of that car. And when you talk about heavy-duty machinery, 50% of the world's filters like that are produced by Ahlström. I will not go into other things of the niches, but it's like a portfolio of different types of things like that. So they are passionate about. And the main claim to fame is that we can then, in this business, we are known. Most of those who were, or all of those who were our competitors, family businesses in Finland 100 years ago, they don't exist anymore. They have merged into the big giants of the United Paper Mills and Stora Ensos and so forth. So we can knock on any door anywhere in the world and say, it's from the Ahlströms, and they will take our call if we want to expand. Okay, philanthropic engagements, that's another huge topic that makes it possible for the larger 420 people to be involved, not only the business. And they will support you who are in the business if you have trust for them and you give them an important way to carry their weight into. That's it. And now they're going to come, this one we're going to jump. We're actually 7 generations now, which means... and then because people who are younger than me and then some of them who have their kids. So the 6th generation is coming in, but how do we select them? Well, we have to be accountable to everybody so everybody knows what are the criteria for how they are selected. So we have a family functions, we call it. This is like a little part of the organization that filters through and looks who has the required education, the required career, potential. And then those names are brought up to me, to the nomination committee, from which we can then choose, and then everybody understands why that person was chosen. It was not because he was the son of somebody who was the boss before. So development, nominations, I kind of touched this topic. Normal board of directors, normal CEO, but nomination committees are separate from the actual board of directors. The supervisory board, I want to mention though, it's like a family council. We have it because since we're 250 owners or 420 influencers, you could say, because the wives and the husbands are influencers, we have to synthesize the family into a smaller group of people, and this is how we do it. And this group is the one that nominates the nomination committee number 2. That's the one I'm chairing. So I'm selected by this synthesized family group who thinks that I can do this job. And when they don't think I can do it anymore, they can fire me, and I will be very happy with that. And I have lots of other cool things to do. So that means there is accountability, then there's not self-nomination. This is important to create trust. Okay, more than 170 years building on long-term. There they are. Okay, and that's my father there, Santa Claus there in the middle. A lovely man. He passed away 2 years ago. He was for 25 years chairman of the whole group, and he was also 38 years in the board of directors. He was a professor in pulping technology. He was breathing that industry. He's a known person. Pulp and Paper Industry Hall of Fame in Wisconsin, they don't have shirts there like in the ice hockey Hall of Fames, but I'm standing up there, and my new follower, how should I say, who replaced me is Marion Björksten, one of my second cousins, who is now head of the family. So she's the one who will fire me when I get fired. Okay, so ambition and responsibility, they were mentioned, those are our values. And the common vision that we have and which we can gather the owners around is the idea that whatever we do it the right way, the good way, the sustainable way, and the business we're in is a future business. So we believe in that renewable materials are needed. So that's way over time. Sorry.
But wonderful. Thank you very much, Johannes. Take a seat here, please,
okay.
if you may. Well, we're going to jump over our discussion. And
Okay.
We'll follow your lead. So if you have any questions, that please, if you can raise your hand and put your question. If you want to put your question in Czech, then we'll give Johannes his headphones, or I can try to translate very poorly. So do you have a question, or should I put the first question myself and then you'll think about it? Okay, so think about it. It's very easy. Oh, you have a question? Oh, sorry, Libor. Yes. Say it out loud, and we'll give you quickly a mic.
I can grab my headphones. It's maybe more. People will be more courageous if they know that they can do it in Czech. So I'll have.
We
it here.
speak English, Johannes.
I know.
We do.
I know. I know. It's just the pressure when you're in a group like this. Now it's easier because now I have already been speaking a little while. But just before you grab the mic, you're always a little bit nervous.
So let's see if Libor will do it in English.
I'd like to ask you, please, how do you care about to maintain, let's say, entrepreneurship in your family?
Yes.
That if you have 250 owners and the drive for the company and it's all, which was visible in the past.
Yeah, it's a key question to which we don't have, all the answers. We think that
After 174 years.
no, that was the earlier discussion here about that we still need to develop, and we still, that never ends. That never ends because we still need to develop all the time, and there's always a new situation. And now when we're talking, I'm fifth generation, fifth generation is stepping slowly aside, and sixth generation is already way in. How have we guaranteed? So we have lots of different types of programs that start already from the early youth. That's how we use the home, for instance, is that because we had, like my grandmother had her own home there in that village. So we start to, I don't want to say indoctrinate, but we start to encourage them to understand the idea of the family business, that this is not a privilege. Oh, it's a privileged position, of course, but that's not the main point. The main point is the entrepreneurial spirit. So we tell the stories of the entrepreneurial spirit stories, and then we hope that they start to develop themselves. They get their own education, they get their own work experience, they're really on their own. They can do some summer internships, but they don't really start growing through the company. We kind of liberate them from that because we want their entrepreneurial spirit to be born separately. And then we call them in. I was called in like that. I was an entrepreneur in the IT industry in the 1990s. We built online services for the internet. I was building an online brokerage, and then some of the gray-haired men in the family said, "Oh, Johannes, he's a promising talent, we should bring him in." And then suddenly I was a board of directors member in our investment company, Ahlström Capital, and I thought, oh my God, I'm responsible for this is huge thing. So then only then I went to study an MBA in finance in order to be able to know how an IRR is calculated. So the entrepreneurial spirit was there before. So we see those. I think we want to encourage those entrepreneurs, but we have only 15 of 420 in the system. So we don't need all of them to be entrepreneurs, but we need them all to. You don't have to love everybody in the group, but you have to love yourself as a part of the group, and you have to like to be in the group. So we try to create that, and then mutual respect, because we see the philanthropic people, for instance, they are also very entrepreneurial, and they bring the family together. So, and suddenly everyone is interested about the EBITDA, Before my sisters told me when a new foundation was started by the women in the family, sorry, this became a long answer, but this is entrepreneurial. They started a new foundation in the name of the founder's wife, Eva, our great-great-grandmother, Eva Ahlström. to help women and children in lesser fortunate positions. And now our chair of that foundation, she became, chair of the UNICEF International Council, which is working directly with the Director General of UNICEF, like right up there, and spreading the Ahlström name in those circles where there are the biggest. And that's what my sister said to me, like, well, now this is getting interesting. So then I realized that us talking about the profitability, the strategic, direction of the company and so forth, it doesn't make them passionate. But once you have a philanthropic activity, they become very interested in the results, because otherwise they can't have the philanthropic activity. So it becomes a positive circle and then we do high fives to each other.
So any other question?
But we don't know the answer to that one. To maintain it, to keep the knowledge of that business where we're in.
So you had a 5 minutes answer to end it up that you don't have the answer for that. Okay, cool.
I have the questions.
That's even more important, maybe. Any other question that we should put on? Because I definitely have one, and you mentioned it. How do you handle conflicts?
Yeah, we have had conflicts. I was myself involved in one in the 1990s. We had a strong disagreement about who would be the next chairman after my father. So I was on the barricades. People felt, of course, that my opinion was probably a little bit biased. And we have recovered since then. So in the last 25 years, we built these institutions so that we have the means now, I can say happily, that the day they fire me, I know they're making a good decision, and then I'll do something else to help the business. So we handle conflicts now early enough so that they're not build-ups. So we use the synthesized family or the supervisory board, which is really in an official position in the company. So Förvaltningsråd would be the Swedish name. Mm-hmm. There's something similar in German that you may know, Förvaltningsrat or something like that. It's used in government companies sometimes, where you have the politically chosen people who are overseeing the board of directors. So in there, and I'm also a member of that, we do the conflict management early on, and then we take one-on-one discussions with the persons involved, and we have a honest discussion. And then everybody knows who can fire who, and that helps that conversation. Because the fights can sometimes be like political fights. Like you start to build a group of shareholders who get of a certain opinion. Then we need to have our tentacles out, so we get the music early, and then we address it.
You haven't been here last year. Some Czech companies deal with slaps in the head.
With slap? Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a quick way how to do it.
Well, I have one that should get one slap on the head. But I'm not sure it will work for us, but maybe on the wrist.
Let's try. A question, if there is any question that you want to ask. Yes, I can see your hand, so just a moment, we'll give you a mic. Quickly. Thank you. No, it doesn't work, so we'll try to give you another one. So we'll try another one.
Thank you.
Yes.
So it's fine now.
Hi.
My name is Marta Zavadilová, and I have one question. It's so interesting, Johannes, if you talk about your family business and organization. And my question is, how do you support, or if you even support, but I guess you do, the members of your large family who are not businessmen? I can imagine you can have somebody who is successful as an artist or doing sports, for example, but not participate directly in your firm. So do you have, for example, some family foundation, or how do you simply meet with these members? Thank you.
A kindergarten group?
No, but actually the answer to that is no when it comes to the grown-ups, but yes when it comes to the earlier ages. So we have a program from 12 to 18, then we have some programs for those who are studying, but then we don't really invest anymore in those who didn't make the huge effort themselves to educate them to become potentials. Then we kind of invest in those in order to make sure that we get at least the 15 that we need. Maybe we need, we need more. Maybe we need 30 so we can choose among them. But yeah, we have the foundations. Those are not paid jobs, so they can join the foundation and they can feel the togetherness within that. For instance, my sister is a piano teacher by education. My other sister is a textile designer, and they have both of them been at different moments chair of the. We have one foundation which is focused on you say art and design, which is a sort of a heritage foundation. It's a building basically that has a fantastic art collection. So we can offer those positions to those who are passionate about that, but you can't be in the foundation and do nothing. You have to be passionately involved then for it. The rest, they can come to the common meetings, and of course, if they're shareholders, they get their dividend. So for them too, it's good if the company does well. But we can't take care of everybody, but we can support each other. I'm going to surprise you with a little story that happened to me. I had a trauma 2 years ago after my father, 1 week after my girlfriend passed away. And this was the biggest shock I've ever had in my life. I have had deep, grief. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I realized that I have the greatest family in the world. The types of now, it's not even easy for me to say it, and even it's some time ago. But the types of messages that they were sending me, the support. It was incredible when you're at home alone and you get these text messages which are very detailed about how they felt about her and how they felt about how she changed me and all that. To me it felt like 420 people were carrying me through the fire. So what is this worth? For me this is everything.
Johannes, that was the best ending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And take care.
Thank you.